Recording in progress.
Welcome everyone back to our strength training class. So this morning we'll be doing a full body workout. We'll be focusing mainly on upper body since we do hit a lot of legs on our cardio class, but we'll work on our upper body, torso, which is our obliques, our abs, our lower back, and then also our legs. So we'll probably focus on sets of 4 exercises today: shoulders, chest or back, torso, and legs. Okay, so it's gonna be a bigger giant set, and we'll go with 2 rounds of each one. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our warm-up. So let's start by looking left to right. Looking right here, left to right. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be cooler today, but hopefully not as muggy as yesterday. I think yesterday looked like it was going to be a cloudy day, and then it just got warm up and down. It was cloudy, but it was also very muggy and humid. Up and down. Morning, Kathleen. Next, Ripples.
Good morning.
Morning. Switch. Alright, let's do our snow angels. Bring that right arm across. So try to get through 3 giant sets. 1 standing, 1 on the chair or using the chair, and then the final 3rd round on the floor. So that should get us through about 20 to 24 sets of exercises, which that's plenty for the amount of time we're in here, 45 minutes or so. Switch. And then next week will be our last week of the summer term, so we'll be concluding our 6 days a week. Let's go ahead and do trunk rotations. So gently left to right. Let's go with ab circles. So hinge at the hip, come across, pump. Let's go with big hula hoops. So big giant hip circles. Switch. Alright, let's go ahead and do our quad stretch. So lift that right ankle and pull back from right above the ankle. switch. Alrighty, let's go with our hamstring stretch. So slide your hands down your shins. Drop your hips down, grab your ankles and extend. Two more. Very good. And lastly, it's our deep squat. So wide stance. Drop your hips down. Torso's upright. And rise. Alrighty. So we'll get started. So for our first set, what we're going to do are going to be our standing movements. So for this one, we're going to go ahead, do our underhand front raises. I like this one because it does target the shoulders and the chest. That's going to be our first upper body one. Now for our arms, we're going to go with reverse curls. Okay, reverse curls. This is going to target biceps and triceps right here. Just make sure your wrists don't rotate out. Okay, now for our abs, for our obliques, we're just gonna go ahead and do elbow to opposite knee. Okay, so just right here. These are good too because you do get some hip mobility. But think more of bringing your shoulder, not that elbow down, but more of your shoulder down. So you could even just practice that motion. So do that opposite leg. And then lastly for our legs, we're gonna go ahead and do Cossack squats. So goblet style, slowly down here and then slowly up, right? Then we're gonna transition for our second set on the chair. But we're gonna do 2 rounds of each set, okay? So go ahead and grab your dumbbells. All right, so if you have your dumbbells ready, we're doing 12 of each, okay? So we're here and rise. So we start wide, come close. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Drop those. 30 seconds rest. We're going to do our reverse curls next. Guys, remember for these, I usually put all my fingers over the same side of the dumbbell so your wrists don't rotate out. All right, ready? Here and straight up. Just 1, 2, and if I keep my dumbbells like this next to each other, I could keep them really. 3. I just push them against each other so they don't rotate out. 4, 5, and they're keeping contact with each other the whole time. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's go down. And then the next one is the shoulder to opposite knee. Okay. So for this one, let's just focus on one side at a time because I think there might be some confusion or we could fall out of rhythm if we do both sides. So let's go again, shoulder to that opposite knee. So from here, just come down. Try to keep that core tight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, when you're ready, just put it here. And I just put my hand there so I know that's a nice mental note for me to bring my wrist to my knee. Ready, and begin. On my shoulder. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, 11 and 12. It's gonna stop at 10. Really good. We have our Cossack squats. Just remember, these are wide stance. As wide as you can. Goblet style with your weight. And we shift. Keep your torso upright, come up, and then switch to the other side. So it'll be a total of 6 on each side, okay? For a total of 12. I'm gonna use both dumbbells for this one. Light stance. And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oof. All right, so 1 minute rest. We're gonna go back to our underhand front raises. Disgusting.
¿Te pusieron la barrera, Juli?
Sí.
Eso bueno.
Yeah. Oof. How are you feeling this morning? Are we full of energy? Are we tired? I didn't have my coffee today. Oh. I'm thinking of going to go watch the Odyssey today by myself. We'll see if that happens.
Oh, let me know if you like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I find a local like IMAX theater, I might go. So, alright, let's go wide and do 12. So, 1, 2. I was telling my wife if she'd be interested in watching them, but and I asked her because half of the movies we watch on Netflix, she falls asleep within 20 minutes of them starting. So I'm like, hey, I really want to go see this movie. It's not for kids, and I doubt the kids will even like it, but would you like to go? And she said, if it starts before 6 p.m., yes. And then I'm like, oof. I was like, it's also 3 hours long. And she's like, what's it about? And then I'm like, oh, it's like Gladiator, like Troy, you know, kind of just Greek mythology stuff. And as soon as I said that, she seemed kind of like, yeah, maybe you should go. She didn't tell me to go watch it by myself, but that's the look she gave me, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I might just go today. I think tickets are cheaper on Tuesdays too, if I go early. Let's go for our reverse curls. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, very good. Back to our trunk. This time let's switch it up. Let's go prisoner style and let's go same side, okay? So we'll be working on our obliques for that one. Alright, ready? And begin 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, and 12. Catch your breath when you're ready. Left side and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, we have our Cossack spots. Next, 30 seconds. Alright, ready? 6 on each side, white stance, goblet style, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright. Very good. Alrighty, next we have our chair. We'll be using our chair. We're going to target for this one our shoulders with shoulder press right here. This is not too difficult. And we're going to go with tricep extensions. Okay, tricep extensions there. For our torso, this one, it's actually not much that we have much variation there. So we'll go on with Bulgarian split squats. So we did these last week, so we'll just, again, straighten out your legs from the edge of your seat. That's going to be your position. And we're going to do 6 on each leg, just up and down. And since we're not doing one for our core, we'll do one for our back. So we'll do bent over rows, okay? So that's going to be our next set, which will start in about 30 seconds. See, like, I'm trying to look at times, but I don't know what 4DX means. I don't know. I don't think that's IMAX. 30 seconds. I'll have to check later. I'm going to start with shoulder presses. Ready? So 12. We're here. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Bring back down. Alright, we do have to use our shoulders a bit to stabilize for the tricep extension, so we'll just go ahead and move on to the Bulgarian split squats next, okay? So, people do tricep extensions towards the end. So extend your legs. Okay. You could do body weight, or you can hold the weights here. Put that foot down and begin. 1. Make sure that chair does not slide behind you. 2. 3. If this is too much, remember you can always do a static lunge here. Okay, you can always do that too. But having the chair there is going to get you a little bit more range of motion and allow for more resistance. We'll switch. So for the back movement, I'll give you 2 options, okay? So we could either do our bent over rows right here, supported rows, or you could do good mornings, which is here, and then hinging at the hip, keeping your back straight, and then back. That will target the hamstrings a little bit too, so. Alright, so let's go ahead and pick any of those 3. Okay, I'm fine with any of those 3. Ready? I'm going to do bent over rows. So I'm here hinging at the hips, arms down, and give me 12 of whatever you're doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Tricep extensions is the next one. Looks like I'm gonna go at 305. It looks like a local movie theater has a IMAX. Alright, let's bring those over here. Ready? Keep those elbows in and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. Very good. 1 minute rest. Yeah. That was warm yesterday. I think I was, for the cardio class, at this time I was sweating a lot yesterday. It's a little cooler. I was checking the weather for the race on Saturday. It's supposed to be 90 degrees at 6 p.m. So hopefully there's a change in the winds. Something.
Julio,
Yes.
is this the last week or
Next week's the last week.
next week?
Yes. Yep. Next week. Next Saturday is the last one. It's gonna go a little heavier. I feel like I'm losing my muscles, so I'm running so much and I'm not lifting anymore. So maybe step it up. All right, shoulder press. Ready, and begin. So yeah, so we have next week, next Saturday is our last day, last week. Then we have 2 weeks off, and then August 17th we start with the fall term. So with the fall term, so that Monday we'll meet, and then that Wednesday I'll be in Mammoth. So I think that Wednesday we may skip or have a video recording, but I'll make an announcement about that. I think my addition of adding Irvine to my schedule, it's not the best timing. I start for Santa Ana and Irvine on the same week, and that's also the same week we're in Mammoth. So it makes things logistically challenging for that week. So, but we'll make it work. Let's go ahead and do our Bulgarian split squats. So again, remember, straighten out your legs, find your position, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very good. Bent over rows are next. We'll start those in about 30 seconds. Yeah, I think right now with Irvine, I'm at, I think 10. I have 4 classes, and I'm, I believe, at 10. Enrolled 10, 11, 13, and 15. I'm hoping some folks from Irvine that are already enrolled kind of hang out. I've noticed, I mean, I've been with you folks for so long, not just Santa Ana in general, but some of you, and you guys talk back to me. My Irvine students are very shy. They don't respond very much. Let's bend over here and begin. So 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. And then we have our tricep extensions right now that are next. Go ahead and grab those weights. over your head. Ready, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Very good. Alright, lastly, we'll go to the floor. It's going to be a slightly shorter set. We'll go with 3 exercises. Okay. 3 movements. So set up your yoga mat. We're going to go with push-ups for our chest. Okay, so push-ups. Then we're going to go ahead and we'll do some Jane Fondas for our hip flexors and our adductors. And then we could also do another set. We did these last week. I really liked them. It's when we did our glute bridges with the chair. If you remember those, we had our heels on the chair and we lifted our glutes off and just made it a little bit more challenging. If that seemed like too much for you, then we could do the glute bridges without the chair. Okay. All right. So 3 exercises. Push-ups will get our biceps and our chest, and then we'll hit our legs with the 2 leg movements. Okay. So push-ups, do knee assisted push-ups or traditional push-ups. We're looking at anywhere between 10 to 12. Okay, if you need to take a little break in between, go ahead and do that. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and begin. Able to, we'll go ahead and start our Jane Fondas. We're going to do 8 on each leg. So we're going to go up, down, keep that foot elevated the entire time, don't slam it down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, we'll switch. Oh, I just switched directions. Okay, then the other leg. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very good. Right, if you recall this next one, we had our chair. Here we put our heels on the chair. We're resting and we're bringing our hips off the ground and then back down, okay? Ready? And we're doing 8 of these. And begin. So up, squeeze, down, again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 2 more, up, down, last one, up, and down. Alright, quick little break, and we'll do that circuit a second time. Who logged out? Someone logged out right now. Oh, I think it was Lisa. Oof. Yeah, we have many folks out of town right now. Jan's in Iceland. I think Shabana's in Atlanta. Jeff is somewhere in the East Sierra Nevada still. I think he's been out there for almost a month now. Just hiking. It's awesome. Alright, push-ups. Second round. 10 to 12. Ready? And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo. Jane Fonda's. When you're ready. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Switch sides. Ready, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Awesome. Our last set of bridges, either with or without the chair. Your call, up to you. Okay. Definitely feel it more with the chair, so in case you're debating. Ready? And up, down, up. Ooh, if you try it with one leg, it's even harder. Up, down, 3, up, down, 4, up, down, 5, 3 more, 6, 7, and 8. Oof. The person I learned those from, they were doing one-legged glute bridges. There's no way I could do that right now. My hamstrings will disintegrate. But good workout. How are we feeling? Oof. I think that's just what I needed.
Great.
Alright folks, if you're back with me at 10, I'll see you soon. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, but enjoy your Tuesday. Don't eat too many tacos, okay? Alright everyone, I'll see you soon. Good job.
Thank you. See ya.
Good job everyone.
Thanks, Julio.
Yeah, of